Hey y'all, today's October 25th, Friday, October 25th. It's Fancy Friday. Before I start the video, I want to do a really quick say thank you guys. I hit 30 subscribers this week, and it's kind of a big deal. I don't know why, but it is. My videos are getting views. I'm way beyond my expectations. So, I'm really hoping maybe in time I can get better equipment. I'm just using my phone and some little dinky ring light thing. But anyway, thank you guys for all your support so far. And at the end, when I hit like 50 subscribers, I'll probably do like a giveaway type thing. Just pick one of you guys at random or do a random generator type thing and give away something cool that I have. I don't know, some type of EDC gear. At the end of this video, though, I'm going to do a little bit of something special and do an EDC gear shout out. Something I got recently. So, with it being Friday, I'm going to do Fancy Friday. And I have a knife here that's made by a company called Hypercut Manufacturing. He's my boy Dylan Davis over there. I got to give him a big shout out. He's been nothing but an awesome dude to me. He's taught me that if you set your mind to something, you can do it. He's a young guy. He started his business in the midst of COVID. If you've ever heard of Paragon Knives, yeah, he does all the Warlocks. So the sick ones you see, the awesome ones with the Baker Forge, he does the Warlock for them. He also has his own knife line. He has a few different knives. He had his first knife, the Anomaly, which was a collab piece. I have one. That'll be a different video, but that was his first knife. And the knife that I'm going to review is called the Bikkhu, Bikkhu. It's an interesting name, and it's an interesting knife. So with that said, and I know I'm already 2 minutes in, this is it. Hypercut. He does these awesome 3D boxes. I think they're really well done. And he gives you his COA on the front of it. So let's go ahead and read it. We got Baker Forge Ripple Elite for the steel. We have titanium frames. That's the only titanium, really. The inlays and the backspacer are milled black Damascus, AKS black Damascus. The thumb studs, or the pivot screw is meteorite, inlaid titanium meteorite. Thumb studs are Baker Forge Mokume, and the clip is random Chad Nichols Damascus. We're not sure what the pattern is because it was kind of just left over. But I'm going to go ahead and show you this. Yo, y'all. This thing is insanely beautiful, and I'm not sure, the light's never gonna do it justice, so I'll take it out. But it comes with like a little pivot screw because it's a custom pivot, where it's only a double pivot, but it's got that meteorite. You can see the pattern from the meteorite on both sides. The Baker Forge 3-gain thumb studs, the Nichols Damascus deep etch clip. You got the AKS black Damascus inlays, and they look great. There's just a lot going on. So what I've dubbed this knife is the Frankenstein, because there's no rhyme or reason. And then the Ripple Elite by Baker Forge. It's carbon steel. But what's cool about the Ripple Elite is it's got copper and nickel in it, and that's what keeps that shiny. And I found great wax that you can't even tell is on there. It's called Warrior Wax, and it really keeps the blade nicely done. There's no like oxidization happening to the copper and the steel or anything like that. I wish I could get better. Oh, that's actually pretty good. You guys can see that here. Let's see if I put my... Yeah, look at that. So it's layers of copper and nickel. And no matter how deep you etch it, and like the bevels on each side are like almost perfect. And yeah, I mean, this is just a wicked knife. It's somewhere in the size range of a Lamia. I think it might be a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think it's substantially bigger. It might be a 1/4 inch bigger, so about 7.75 inches overall, it looks like. He calls it a modified drop point blade. It's not a clip point because it doesn't really clip out, but it's just got this super deep belly. He gives you this sharpening. He sharp all of it's hand done. It's gorgeous. He this was a build that was really special to me because I bought bikkhu number 8, which is in my collection. I was gonna bring it out and show it, but I would just do a video on that one. But I bought bikkhu number 8. He was fairly unknown at the time. He made only about 25 of the anomalies with David Carver. And he was just getting out there, and I saw this knife on Screaming Pirate EDC's shorts when he does his shorts, his little morning things. And he has an emerald green one that was sick, and I forget which one he has, but yeah, whatever it was. So I reached out to Dylan, and I was able to get number 8. This is number 58. So I got number 58 along with number 8. I also have one of 4 fixed blades that he did that is like this. It's the exact profile, but it's Baker Forge, another Baker Forge steel with Kieranite handles, and I'll do a review on that one too. But you can just see how great this is. And then this is the crosshatch milling pattern on the black Timascus. Give me a sec. Okay, so I just wiped off the Timascus a bit because it needed to happen. You can really see that coloration. We tried to leave it with some bronze and some blues and some blacks. But the blade, the pivots, the milling, and this is what's so cool about the bikkhu, and he did this. He's such a good engineer, dude. So there's internal milling on both sides of this, okay? Even with the inlet, or no, on the, on both sides, there's internal milling. And then the way he does his branding with his knives is all the information is like up in here somewhere. If I had a flashlight, I don't have a, oh yes I do. You might be able to see it. I doubt it. Let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see it up there. If I can get the right angle. I don't know. Whatever. I'm trying too hard. But, you guys, it's really cool. It says Hypercut Manufacturing, bikkhu number 0058. And Dylan really just let me pick. He doesn't really do that. He did it for me because I've been a big fan. I've supported him. I'm also going to get one of his next knives, which is the subliner, the Cretan. So I'm pretty excited about that. I can't wait for that build. It's going to be crazy. But you guys, like, honestly, it's a front flip. Like, he built it so that we would front flip it out. And I will say he's done a lot better with the action since, like, the first one, since number 8. Number 8 had a little bit of a soft detent, a little bit mushy, but he's really perfected it now where, like, it's just a fire open. It's got its own feel as a knife. His action is very defined. He also does something new that I did not have him do on this knife, but he flattens his detent now, kind of like a detent nub. He flattens his detent. This one's not like that, so it's got stiff detent. It does not fall shut. I have to bring it shut. But the action is really nice no matter how you do it. Front flip, thumb flip, or reverse flip. So it's just a really great knife. Oh, the spacers, AKS Black Timascus as well. But I want to show off this clip because, man, is it cool. Now, something else that I think was really cool that Dylan did for me with this knife is when I bought it, he sent me a blade cut out of some Norris. It's just like a collector's thing. And then he actually sent me the billet where my clip came from, that he made the clip from. So I have the billet from my clip, and then I have the billet from a blade that he did of some Norris. It looks like Norris or some Intrepid, maybe. I can't tell what it is, but he wasn't sure either. He also gave me another clip. It's just a super random clip that it has like no, it's Timascus, but it's got like no Zerk. So it's a really weird clip, but he just gave them to me because he's cool like that. When I paid for the knife, he's like, don't worry, man, you'll get some stuff in there that I think you'll like. That was the stuff he was talking about. This bill, I mean, not a lot of us have got to handle this. You know, as collectors, it's really cool to see how it's like, you know, done. But the milling, the pivots, the inlays, the thumb studs, the blade itself, that Ripple Elite. Baker Forge is one of my favorite steel makers. I like carbon steel. This isn't exactly a using knife, so just to have as like a badass collecting piece, I think is awesome. But, excuse me, I shouldn't have coughed. But this is just bonkers how cool it is. I know it looks like a little chili pepper, but when you get it in your hand, that's not what it feels like. You can full on grip it, and he's got functional jimping on top. The thumb studs that he has now, his Gen 2 thumb studs, which I call because his Gen 1s were great in their own way, but these new ones, so good, so good, so good. And they're milled so well. Oh, God, I wish... Yeah, you could see, like, how well they're milled. You can even see, like, that little 6-shooter in the middle of them. And it's perfect because it gives you just enough to flip it any which... Sorry, that's my fault. My finger was in the way. To flip it any which way you want. So, when I first got this knife, I was closing it, and I literally almost chopped off, like, the tip of my thumb. It's all right. It happens. We've all done it. But... that's how you know if a knife bites you, you keep that knife. I don't know if you guys ever heard that, but if a knife bites you, you keep that knife. So anyway, guys, I don't want to keep these videos too long, but on a Blade Boss scale, materials, execution, everything, and it's centered. I mean, it's as perfectly centered as you could want a knife. It is perfectly centered. Everything is done perfectly. I mean, it is gorgeous. It's a frame lock. That's something I also want to talk about. It's a frame lock. It's not a liner lock. It's an entire frame lock. But he puts the bolster. It's not a bolster. It's an inlay. And what's really impressive is they're all set screwed in. You can take these inlays off, technically, in theory, and change them out. Because they're set screwed in. They're not glued in. So the inlays you can take apart, technically. This knife is so awesome. On a Blade Boss scale, I'm a hypercut guy. I really am. I have the Bikkhu. I'm going to have the Cretan. I have the Anomaly. And then I also have this. Not many of these were made. The Bikkhu coin. But I'm lucky I have it. And I'm lucky that I have such a good friend in Dylan as a collector and somebody who's starting to learn the business more and more. So anyway, you guys, on a Blade Boss scale, it's definitely a 10. I'm sorry. If you guys have a chance to buy his knives, grab one because you won't regret it. And if you do, Secondary's got your back. There are a lot of people out there who want Dylan Davis's knives. He's an up-and-comer. He's an engineer through and through, and he's young. He's a young guy. He's like 26. No, I think he's 28. When he started his business, it was like mid-COVID. No, beginning COVID. He was like 23 years old. He's successful. He knows what he's doing. He's good at it. And he makes badass knives. He also sells hyper loops, which are like kind of like the David Carver and HMC. You know, they're for your keys. Hyper spikes, hyper loops, and the bikkhu, and then the cretin, which is coming out now. So look that up, the hypercut cretin. It's awesome. It's a subliner. He did a crazy different type of style on it. The blade's it's a warnie, if you would call it that. It is awesome. So I'm excited to get mine when it's ready. But this is the bikkhu by Hypercut, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The materials he let me use, that's not done a lot, where you get to just choose whatever you want. So Dylan, if you ever see this video, thank you for being so awesome, and I appreciate you, brother. On a Blade Boss is signing off. You guys have a great rest of your night and have a good weekend.